Family in mourning tonight after a young woman was shot and killed in an apparent case of road rage. Happened late last night in the South Shore neighborhood. WG's Patrick Elwood spoke with her husband tonight.
He joins us now live from Area Central. Patrick?
Micah and Joe, good evening to you. What began on the road with some kind of argument ends with the death of a 23-year-old Chicago woman. Tonight, you're hearing from her heartbroken husband. It started as some sort of altercation between two cars near 74th and Yates. Moments later, 23-year-old Dominique Hobson was shot twice, later to be pronounced dead at the University of Chicago Medical Center.
She was working as a security guard. As a job, she works in downtown.
Abdul Wahab Ikaro is Dominique's husband. The cruel irony, he was born and raised in Nigeria and came to the U.S. only 2 years ago for a better life. Not long after arriving here, he met his true love.
I'm still dreaming, I'm still dreaming.
He says he got that call, a call that nobody ever wants to get around midnight.
She was alone in the car, but she was with her friend. Her friend was in front of her. She was behind her, and because they were coming together from downtown, from north side.
That friend says Dominique and the driver of that other car started arguing over something that happened on the road. A couple of blocks later, he pulled out a gun, and her fate was sealed.
The guy shot her twice on the forehead and on the throat.
On Monday, Dominique will be laid to rest. He is left to wonder what exactly happened. What could have been?
My wife was a very nice person.
Dominique leaves behind a 6-year-old child. There are some cameras in that area there that could help with the investigation. Reporting from Area Central 51st and Wentworth, Patrick Elwood, WGN News. Back to you guys in the studio.
I just never thought that it was just an accident.
Fears confirmed for friends of a woman killed in a car crash. The case now considered a homicide. It's our top story on Newswatch 16 at 6. Good evening, I'm Charlotte McBride. Scott Schaefer is off tonight. Tammy Fox of Scranton was killed when her car collided with a tree last week. Her friends say the crash never made sense. Now Fox's boyfriend is charged with homicide after admitting to cutting her brake lines. Newswatch 16 Stacey Lane joins us live in Scranton with that story. Stacey?
Yeah, Charlotte, good evening. Exactly 1 week ago, Tammy Fox's car collided with this tree behind me here on the corner of North Washington Avenue and Pine Street in Scranton. You can see it's now become a memorial to her, and today her friends gathered here to remember her.
I just never thought that it was just an accident. I know it in my heart. And I just want justice for her.
A few friends started by placing Tammy's favorite flower, red roses, at the base of the tree where she was killed 1 week ago. It's grown into a memorial to the woman who police now say was killed by her boyfriend. State troopers say Fox's boyfriend, John Jenkins, admitted to cutting Tammy Fox's brake lines the night before the deadly crash here at the corner of North Washington Avenue and Pine Street in Scranton.
Now that the truth came out, I mean, we felt it all along. It's like she was giving us a sign, you know.
Lisa Vargas and Tammy were friends for more than 2 decades. Lisa says she hadn't met John Jenkins, but had a bad feeling about him. According to police, Jenkins said he cut the brake lines of Tammy's car to make a pipe he would use to smoke crack cocaine. That's an excuse Tammy's friends don't buy.
I mean, can't you find something else around the house to smoke crack in? Aluminum foil, something else. I'm pretty sure if you're a career crackhead, you could find something else besides a brake line to smoke crack in.
Tammy was a key witness in a case against several Lackawanna County corrections officers accused of sexually abusing female inmates. She was also a plaintiff in a federal civil lawsuit against those corrections officers in several Lackawanna County offices. Her friends say that part of her life and the way her life ended doesn't define her.
She loved her family. She loved her friends. She loved her community. She was actually in recovery. She was speaking at meetings and going to meetings. She was a wonderful person, and we need to give her the honor and respect that she deserves.
Now again, Tammy Fox was a witness in that criminal case against several Lackawanna County corrections officers. She was also a plaintiff in a civil suit. We talked to her attorney representing her in that suit today. He says he plans to move that suit forward. He's going to meet with Tammy's family sometime this week to see how they move forward. Stacey Lang, Newswatch 16, reporting live in Scranton.
Stacey, thank you. A truck inspector.
What happened at the birth of the universe 14 billion years ago? I don't know, do you? It's a puzzle that's challenged scientists, scholars, and the religious since long before history was written down. Now, scientists in Switzerland are hoping to be able to shed some light on this age-old mystery.
Deep underground in Switzerland, scientists flipped the switch on the world's largest machine this week, bringing the Large Hadron Collider back to life. They're hoping to unveil
and the religious since long before history was written down. Now, scientists in Switzerland are hoping to be able to shed some light on this age-old mystery.
Deep underground in Switzerland, scientists flipped the switch on the world's largest machine this week, bringing the Large Hadron Collider back to life. They're hoping to unveil the secrets of the universe.
It's considered as a new beginning for our understanding of the universe and particle physics. The Big Bang experiment was again carried out in the world's largest and most powerful accelerator at Cern on the Swiss-French border.
Scientists at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or the Cern, successfully smashed subatomic particles into each other and at record energy levels. It has been described as a major breakthrough in the world of physics.
What Cern have done is they have built a new injector, a new linear accelerator called LINAC 4, that will replace the current one called LINAC 2 in order to increase the amount of protons that you can inject into the Large Hadron Collider.
What they're trying to do, you can see a picture of it there. Look, does that not look out something out of Star Trek? 10,000 connections just in that picture right there. 300 feet below ground. And this is where these beams of light will collide. What are they trying to do? They are trying to collide these beams and find what's called the God particle. They want to be...
Now, let me pause it right there. Some of you may know what Cern is, and some of you may not. Cern is a machine that a lot of the world leaders have got together and allow scientists to make this machine so they can take out into outer space. And just like the guy just said, these mad scientists figure that they can capture the God gene before it even come into existence. So what will possess these people, or what will make these people figure that they can capture the God gene before it even come into existence? They figure that they can break through some type of dimension with this machine and capture anything before it ever come into existence. How did they get this far?
They want to find the beginning of the universe. They want to replicate the Big Bang theory and the Big Bang, excuse me, and collide these and find out what comes off of them. Because what you have is you have matter, that's what you see right now. Then you have antimatter, which is what you can't see, and you have dark matter. And what they're trying to discover is what's holding together matter that they can't see.
Okay, take us through that, because looking on the internet, I saw there was a petition online. People were signing a petition saying they should stop the Large Hadron Collider because it will create black holes that will consume the whole universe or destroy the world.
Right. So again, let me pause it. These people have, like I said, built this machine and place it into space, figuring that they can do something that's unheard of. And possibly you have scientists came from all over around the world saying that they have maybe, well, really there's no maybe about it. These people are admitting to breaking into a dimension that they feel that, you know, we shouldn't have broken into. as a human race. They feel they have opened some type of portal. That's why you've seen all over the media, even though we know the media is fake, we got to be able to decipher what we can. That's why we saw it all over the media. These scientists have supposedly been going into a black hole, finding black holes all over the atmosphere. No, they weren't finding black holes all over the atmosphere. They were breaking into portals that different dimensions. Different dimensions. So if we just stop for a second and think logically, if we know that this stuff is possible, what else? I mean, how far can it go? So if we know that these people have possibly opened portals and open gateways to other dimensions, what happens next? What happens when these portholes, when these gates to other dimensions is open? Because we gotta keep it real and say we know something is happening every day, every single day, every second.
Surely you don't believe that, do you?
But certainly not the universe. It is just our little planet that is at stake. And also, the danger is a danger that can be assessed beforehand. And it would take about a week to assess this danger.
What, the black hole theory, is that not acknowledged by Cern?
Not quite. I mean, they started out that being the main reason for doing the experiment.
Okay, let me pause it again. And I want you all to go back and do the research on this. Way back when I believe it was I believe it was like back in the 60s. I can't remember, and it's crazy because I normally know this president, which president it was, but whatever president was at that time, he signed laws in for this stuff to come into place. And I've always said we could just look at the change of not just technology. I'm not completely saying that we as a human race is just all flat out dumb. I understand everything that's been done to us to dumb us down. We understand all of that. But we have to take into at least consideration that at some points, some point in some time, we have to understand that to us, it may seem like technology is advancing rapidly. That's just to us. But from wherever it come from, and whoever is bringing it and whoever is dealing with this stuff to introduce all this technology to us, we gotta think logically and say these people been had it. They've been had it in their hands. They've been using it against us. So if they go so far to put it on the market now for us to use, then that can only tell us one thing, that they now have something better, faster, better, however you want to call it. Because now they got what they used to use on the market for us to use. They're not going to give us the same technology that they use. They ain't going to even put us on the same level as them.
And when it turned out that there is maybe some danger involved, it became second and third rank in the agenda. But that's not a problem. The problem is that many black holes, if they are generated, which no one knows, but which has a certain probability, people disagree about the probability, but I would say it's about 1 to 12 with this new energy level. And the question is then whether they are dangerous or not.
Well, so
see, another thing, some of y'all can recall, I always like to speak on energy. Energy is real. That's something, maybe in some forms of energy we can't see, in some we can. And for an example, it's just like if you're having a good day, everything's going cool for you, everything's going smooth, you're just having a good day. And then someone come around you, and then your whole day change. That's because the energy that they bringing around you, it's changing your atmosphere. That's for real. That's real talk. People can come around you and brighten your day, excel it to better than what it was before you even came in contact with them. Or it can go the total opposite way. All that stuff is energy. And you know, since we all adults over here, and we like to have adult conversations, it's the same way when you having sex. When a man and a woman having sex, that's energy being transferred from one another. Just like when the man reach his point and he send it over to the woman. Most of the time when a man do that, he get tired, but the woman is, she energized. That's because the man is giving the woman his energy. You understand where I'm coming from? All this stuff resolves around energy. Energy is everything.
The question is it a 1 in 12 probability of us being swallowed up by a black hole or something else?
You see, it will take a while. It won't swallow the Earth within months or seconds. It will take.
And see, look at this on the screen to the right. This is their logo, Cern. We can clearly see the 3 6s in there within the logo. I showed y'all earlier in the lab how they mix off signs and symbols, and in all of the big companies all around the world, not just here in the United States. But look at Cern. Look at their logo. See the 3 6s. So let's ask ourselves this. Let's just come on now. Let's just call it for what it is. Why do they do this stuff? They're not just doing it just to be doing it. They're doing it because they obviously know a lot of things that we don't know. Hey, they handing it to us. They spoon feeding it to us. They spoon feeding it to us all the way from kindergarten. Even before that, growing up as a kid, watching the kid cartoons and all that. That's a form of spoon feeding their so-called knowledge to us, and that's what we start learning. Everything they want us to learn. I've always said that there's not one thing, and I stress that, just one. Can anybody tell me one thing that you've learned on your own? Can't tell me one thing. Can't none of us name just one. Just one single thing. We can't. Everything we know, we have been taught from them. Once we get to the point where we can understand that, then that take us to the next level. Like, damn.
At least 5 years, but still, such an outlook is something that should be discussed heavily before going ahead. And this discussion, which needs 1 week among scientists across the world, could be done, and I think has to be done.
Okay. And like I said, all this stuff. And even these scientists, they fake. Most of these scientists don't know a damn thing. They don't know a damn thing. But what they do is experiment off of us, off of humans. We sheep, we cattle, we whatever to them. We experimental objects to them. Flesh, meat, like they treat animals, they treat us the same. So what they do is experiment off of us and on us, around us and everything. They don't know nothing. Just because they got the title scientist, we just been brainwashed to think that if a person is a scientist, they just mysteriously know something that we don't know. Hell no. Most of them government agents anyway. Believe that. And at the time, the time and day we live in now, imagine how many people government agents and don't even know it. Just because they didn't walk in and sign an application or sit down with a group of people and conspire or whatever. No, these people have gotten slick. So they got people in society doing their dirty work and don't even know it. Don't even know it. Let's take, for example, look at the music industry. Look what's being done. And I gotta say this. A lot of us can recall when music was just, man, it was fun, it was wholesome, it was good. I can recall when times you can hear music and it make you just wanna, be with the one you love, have a good time, be around the people, partying and just enjoying life. Man, that stuff is gone. And don't think it just mysteriously went away. No, it didn't. That stuff was strategically done. It was strategically done. It was strategically done. And they done it for a real reason. They had an agenda behind it. They always do. Everything they do is an agenda behind it. I told y'all earlier how they wanted us to believe that a passport on 9/11, a passport flew up out of a plane that supposedly exploded after it crashed into a building with all this fire and jet fuel, balls of fire. That's from what they showed us. Big balls of fire went through jet fuel down through a fallen building and land on the ground untouched. And they showed us all that stuff on the news. That's because they knew that all that was a military tactic being used on the people. How else would they know everything they want to do to their enemy? You think they go and try it out on the enemy before they actually use it? It's somebody they got to try it out on, and we the ones they try it out on. Whatever they do. You can go back and you can find proof that how the United States government went into mainly black communities and, probably every community. We know they don't play fair. But what they did was secretly put in the LSD, all that stuff, and all these crazy drugs. And then when you learn the truth about all that stuff, and then you look at the conditions of our communities, you got to just step back and say, man, the level of drugs, whether it's using or selling in our communities, is nothing but a military tactic that's being used against us. Just think of this. In most black communities, you have a lot of black men, a lot of black, young guys from the age of maybe 17, 18. And, and just to give it a stretch, from the age of 17 to maybe 30, just imagine how many people spend a lot of years in their life on the streets trying to just survive, just eat, just pay their bills, just get through life off of selling drugs. Even the ones that know it's a better way, but they still doing this, and they spending a lot of years doing it. Spending a lot of years doing it. And it's a revolving door, generation after generation. Go through this, and they do this, and like I'm saying, in the black community, we come up and we think that we can really, really, really survive, and solely rely on that lifestyle, which is a false. It's a false. The whole pretense of it is false. And it's a scam. It's a trick. It's a military tactic. Look what comes behind that. We already know they the ones give us access to the drugs. Then they turn around and lock us up for it. And then just imagine how many people in our community that's actually like pushing the drugs or whatever for the police or for the government or whatever the case may be. So it's all a scam.
There is a reason that has not been falsified yet. So,
Okay,
yes.
that 5-year time limit is not reassuring to me.
Just a final thought, because you came up with a lovely line talking to our producer saying, nature is tricky to understand. Every time you peel back a layer, the universe presents you.
And see, look to the right of the screen. And just look at this huge machine right here. You gotta ask yourself, like, so to a lot of us, it may look like what is this? But when you just examine it, and I want y'all to do the research. Like I said earlier, we got to get back to business. When you look at this, and like we heard the guy say earlier, they're trying to just like capture particles and matter and, you know, all this stuff that we know that really keep us together as a human physical body in a physical form, all this stuff. We know this. But they trying to capture this stuff. They trying to go out into the atmosphere, into the universe, and say, man, basically what they telling us that we come from the atmosphere before we even reach the physical form as a fetus, and then transform into a baby or whatever, and then to a human. But they want to get it. They want to get it before it even come into existence. These are mad scientists. Why? That's why I said earlier at the beginning. What made them even think of this stuff? What made them? To me, that's straight demonic. I mean, what's the reason for that? What's the reason for trying to get your hands on something before it even come into existence? What's the reason for that? We have a lot of people out there that'll probably say, well, you know, it's just a way of mankind progressing, mankind evolving. No, I don't think they got nothing to do with no evolving. That's crossing over into something else. Let's just be real. We understand life, not all of it, not nowhere near all of it, but we know, just using common sense, some things is just not to be touched. Y'all know where I'm coming from. Some things just not to be touched. But when you look at this stuff, this stuff look, not only it look mysterious, it look dangerous. It look dangerous. It reminds you of, it looks sort of like a supercomputer. A supercomputer. Look at all this stuff. This stuff gotta have a lot of, and what they supposed to do with this machine, they're supposed to be able to fire it up and shoot it out into the atmosphere and then open up portholes. I know this stuff sounds crazy, y'all. Trust me, I know it do. But this is what they doing. These people done got together and thought of this stuff. And they making the hard-working, tax-paying citizens pay for it. Won't even tell us what it's about. They'll try to lie. Look how long they lied about it before whistleblowers and, you know, people just doing research on it, wanting to know, man, what the hell is y'all doing? I can't remember the exact distance that the guy said how deep it is underground, but that lets you know they always on sneaky stuff. They building this thing. They built it underground. They built it underground. That's because they didn't want nobody to have no knowledge of it.
With something else that you don't understand.
That's absolutely true. It's why when eminent colleagues like Professor Stephen Hawking say that we might just be around the corner from having a theory of everything, in my experience, that hasn't been the case. Every time we reveal something that we didn't know before, suddenly there are more unanswered questions. So we found the Higgs boson, but we don't know much about it. How do we measure its properties? How does it then interact with all the other particles that we've already seen? Those are the kind of questions that we're constantly trying to answer.
Essentially, science believes that this God gene is the particle that gives everything mass. By itself, it may not seem very interesting, but in Stephen Hawking's new book, all of a sudden, there's a reason to pay more attention to it. Communicating with the assistance of a computer, Hawking talked about his new book, Starness. That's when he revealed the Higgs boson could potentially become so unstable that it could literally cause space and time to collapse. According to Hawking's...
See, I'm telling y'all, this stuff is dangerous, what they're doing. I truly believe, and this is my opinion, that they trying to cross over into something that they shouldn't even be touching. They're going too far. Mankind have been known throughout the history of existence to mess up everything you touch. Everything man touch. Just imagine this, y'all. Just imagine if right now this planet we on, everything that man built with his hands just get taken away. Everything that man built with his hands just gets snatched up off existence. What would be left? What would be left? Only thing that would be left is the original. What's supposed to be here? Anything that didn't have nothing to do with man would be left. And that would be real life. When humans get involved, that's when it's a possibility of things going wrong. Not just because we're not perfect. We understand that. It's just because we human. Being not perfect and being human, I know it coincides, but it's two totally different things. So I believe that they tapping and trying to tap. No, I believe they have tapped into something that they have no business tapping into. And like I said, we can look at all the changes, all the evil, all the just tripped out stuff that we seeing happen rapidly around the world. Around the world. Can't ignore this stuff.
Premise. If this phenomenon were to take place, he says it would cause a type of black hole on Earth. He went on to say this could happen at any time, and we would never even see it coming.
A large portion of Cern is located in the territory of St. Gimius Poli. In Roman times, it was called Apolliacum.
See, now, if they will, like the guy just said, do something and then something, we don't have no knowledge on it, then something happened. It can look, see, something like this can look as simple to us as a rainstorm or tornado or any kind of thing. I'm talking about the effects of it. But it can be something much bigger, something that we never witnessed in our entire lives. We already know they got the capability of changing the weather. Let's just keep it real. The HAARP thing. If you don't know about HAARP, please research. They can change the weather. They can send this energy up into the clouds and cause it to do all type of stuff. They got the capability to move rain clouds, storm clouds, all this stuff into wherever they want it to happen at. Form all this stuff and cause destruction. We have seen it. We've seen it. Why is it that, I mean, we know just nature do what it want, when it want, without a warning. Sometimes nature give us a warning. That's why sometimes we see it get cloudy and gloomy and stuff before it start going down. Those are warnings. But sometimes we don't get warnings. And nature do what it has to do. But when we look at situations like Katrina and stuff like that, like I just said, nature gonna do what it want to do. But when we just use our logical thinking, like, come on now, I mean, it just tore up a entire mainly a black community, and then behind it, what's the FEMA for? What's the United States government got the FEMA for? What it got all them organizations for? They didn't go through and do nothing for them people. We can go through there right now today, and some of that stuff still look like it looked when it happened. What was the reason? So they can push everybody out there and come back through and rebuild? They always got some crazy agenda.
The town and the temple
behind what they do.
Is sitting on is the ancient temple to the god Apollyon.
I want y'all to do research on this. It's called Cern. Please do the research on it. And what these people doing to us is very serious. And I know a lot of this stuff be sounding crazy. Trust me, I know. And the fact that it sounds crazy should be more motivation and more reason that we touch on it, that we try our best to, you know, at least learn about it. If it's crazy, then we know it fits them. It fits them. I know it's kind of late. I just wanted to, like I said, you know, let's get back to business. And it's all good. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Mama Justice, you already know. Miss Red, Pro Black Righteous Folks Home. Everybody. Liz Lion, Milano Love. Everybody in the chat. I know it's late. Catherine Laval. One Love, y'all already know. My day, y'all, and let me say this before I punch out. My day, you know, been bright. Like I said, I appreciate all the love y'all been giving. Mama Justice been keeping the brother on his toes. Few days I be want to come on this boy and just go haywire. But it's all good. You ready to punch out? I know it's late. We got to get us some rest. Can't even do nothing if we don't get that rest. I will be back with y'all in the AM when the sun come up. Queens, y'all hold it down. Security is a must. Kings, y'all do the same. Up out of this piece. One love, and I'm gone.